ballistics thing. Like, unless you're in a really wide open, long lines of sight space.
For sure.
I think out to 600 is pretty damn effective, or covers most situations.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the job, like, I'll cover all this stuff, but for sure, the job of an SPR or designated marksman is not a sniper. Like, you're not supposed to be like assassinating people with first round impacts from half a mile away. Like, that's not what your purpose is.
Right.
I feel like beyond that distance too, someone could easily just run away.
Yes.
Right? And you can't do anything about it, even if they're out in the open.
The majority, where a designated marksman lives, is at that normal combat range of 200 to 400 yards, but instead of just like suppressing the enemy, you're like actually taking heads off.
Right.
Which gives the enemy pause whenever they want to do movement or whatever. Which is how you fix the enemy, which is how you close with and destroy them.
Yeah, hammer and anvil. Nice.
All right. Hopefully we're on YouTube. I think we are. How we doing, everybody?
What's up, guys? Doing good.
DMD.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So, not quite such a super lore-rich backstory today, unfortunately. The federal government defaulted on its debts. This obviously caused a bunch of economic issues, and they didn't have the money to fund all of the law enforcement and policing and regulatory officials they normally do. So essentially, they're only able to project power in the largest cities. You living in a rural community, they essentially have no power out here, though by court there are laws in these lands. Nobody, it's not enforced, right? So anybody can break any law, and no cop is going to come out here to do anything about it. So the defense of your rural community is up to you and your close friends. You have yourself and then 12 other men. You're all well armed, and you've all been training together for a couple years now. And you are here in this rural community where most people are farming or ranching to some degree. Right? We can look at the Google Maps and super zoom out. That's that little subdivision, if you want to call it that, neighborhood where we live in, and then we can zoom out as much as you'd like. There is a small town north to us a good ways, but that's pretty much out of our area of influence and operation. Does anybody have any questions about the scenario or the setting?
Yeah, it looks pretty flat. Is that like Midwest or Texas or something?
This is Texas, yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty flat. There's some small elevation and stuff. It's not the Great Plains, but it's definitely not very mountainous at all either.
Okay, cool.
I have a question. Are we limited by any resources like water or anything like that?
No, currently, like, the logistics and stuff run. Walmart's open, all that good stuff, and you know, if somebody was to come out here and say plant a flag and say that they now own this land and call themselves a new country, well, then they would mobilize a National Guard unit to come out here and get them rooted out. But as far as like the day-to-day activities, kind of armed gangs and such have their way in these rural areas unless the citizenry come together to resist.
If somebody was to come out here and say,
What's the weather like in this scenario?
Normal Texas weather, so it would be pretty warm these days. Texas summer, 80 to 100 degrees, depending on whether it's been raining lately or not.
Gotcha. Dang.
Stelio Contos, you're really quiet. I hear you trying to talk.
Sorry.
Yeah, a little bit better there. Yeah. If you're trying to say anything previous to us, we couldn't hear you. But, so, if nobody has any further questions, then does anybody want to step up and be the squad leader? Not all at once.
I was it last time.
Yo, Chopper, can I just yell at you guys? I want to do it.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know where I'm hearing shit. I'm mute the YouTube. I'm in the Discord. Who's talking to me? GWOT?
Yeah. What's up, dude? I'm right here. You hear me?
Okay, I got you in Discord, fully loud and square. I'm watching your YouTube as well, but I don't know where I should reference. Oh,
just get off
live chat
YouTube.
here.
Fuck YouTube. Just get off
yeah,
it.
Yeah. All right, so watch live.
YouTube kills my shit.
Fully live. Boom. All right, I'm watching. I see an overview.
Yep.
Okay, I'm late to the program. Am I talking to you? I'm so sorry if I'm being rude. I'm late to the program.
No.
What's the situation? And
Yeah, you're
I'm
good.
sorry.
You're good, boss. No, the federal government resided in power because they had a collapse in monetary power. They can't pay cops, so now there's cops nowhere except for the largest cities. You live in a rural community. This is Central Texas. It's relatively flat. It's relatively hot. There's mostly farming and ranching that goes on out here. There are laws, right? So if somebody came out here and said that, declared themselves king of a new land, they would send the National Guard out here to eradicate that dude. But as far as day-to-day activities go, cops aren't coming out here. You can't really call 911, and armed gangs rule the roost unless the citizenry band together to stop them or resist. You have yourself and 12 other men. You're all reasonably well armed for civilians. You've all been working together and shooting and whatnot for a couple years now, so you're rather competent. And you live in this small rural community, and you're kind of trying to keep the peace in this greater area.
There, like the back 80 is us.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that highway? What's the MSR there that runs along it? If you don't mind zooming in for me, 95, and then we got 407. 407 on the corner, 95, 407 northwest corner.
Yep.
It's our community. What's that terrain feature there? It looks like a creek that runs. There's obviously
To the south here?
scrub along it. North
And north?
side. More importantly, it's
Yeah, it looks like-
is that a creek?
Looks like probably. Looks like there's a small
big
pond here,
pond.
and probably depending on whether it's rained a lot, there might be some water here in this green
Yeah,
area.
definitely. Okay, so there's intermittent streams on the north end. Okay, so people should generally just leave us the fuck alone because we're in Texas and they know that these people don't fucking play, right? So what's the threat? What's going on? Like, are we not able to grow enough food? Do we need to go communicate with other tribes, other situations? Like, what's the level of depravity, if you will?
Yeah, as far as like logistics and stuff,
There it is.
as far as logistics and stuff we definitely had an economic downturn along with the government, but nobody's like struggling to eat or anything. Walmart is still open. It's just the federal government can't pay as many millions of law enforcement officers and whatnot that it had previously, so their ability to project power is reduced. So
Well, you say you have 12 people or 12 families. Are you specific on that endeavor?
I just
12
like
families, 12.
you have 12
boys.
12 men, yes, 12 men, including
12 men. I tell them to
plus
go
yourself.
make some fucking friends right away so we can get some wives and some children going on. But ignoring the fact that we don't have generations to wage war, securing this little what is this, about 40 acres?
Sure, like so
40 acre
so
plot,
you
well.
you 12 guys live here in these houses.
So what's our significant threat at this point? Yeah, of course people are upset about the world and that maybe the people here have more than
Right, this
less, but
in
no
this
one's coming out here to fucking test these guys.
in this very moment you don't have any threat. I've just painted the situation and shown you your area of operation.
Oh.
And I'm
Okay.
now I'm telling you,
So I'm
the
just gonna,
manpower
I'm
you
just gonna,
have, and I'm saying so now it's up to you. You can just say, "Cool, we're all sitting on the couch
so
until
things
something
are
happens,"
getting
or
weird. So things are getting weird. How would I administrate the defense of this now that things are getting a little bit uncontrollable?
right
Is
there.
that where we're at?
Right, think like
Oh hell yeah.
think
Love it. I
Mexico.
like this.
Think Mexico.
Okay. Oh yeah.
There are laws,
okay.
there are laws, there are police, whatever. But if you're off in the middle of a rural farm in
No.
Mexico and the cartel rolls up on you, you can't fucking call the police for help.
All right. So first things first. We're gonna have to make an infrastructure of good friends. We got 12 good people, good families. I'm gonna ask them to immediately, call on the people they know and they love. They're gonna make believe in our same defense are the same thing. You know, 12 people are nothing. 12 people is not 12 people. Even if they're all able-bodied fighting age men, or is it barely a Marine squad? You can't do much with that in real combat. So, defense of a posture with 12 men is crazy. But no, I'd ask them to, call upon their families and friends. But then we'd have to. So let's say we're calling upon the defense of this. Let's call it 40. I don't know the real spectrum we're looking at. I'll call it 40 acres, and it looks like it's pretty square. To the north we have creek line, but to the east, south, and west is citizen-defined roadway, just, popular defense. Immediately what I would do, obviously people are going to live in their houses, but I would love to posture some defensive measures. The very first orders of business would be checkpoints. Okay, things are getting weird. So let's put a checkpoint at 95 and 407 there, at that hard point. It's almost a three-way. Let's put one 3 miles north at 95 in the wide old Copland Road. Checkpoints there, and then again at 407 and 406. Those are simple little checkpoints you push in right away while you're talking to your buddies, figuring things out. Those are your most probable routes of egress, outgress, and anything going on. If anyone's really going to fuck with you and they're planning something, they're going to come through, different routes. But this is where all the scouting parties are going to come through. Can people hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello? Oh, okay, cool. Yep. Sorry. No, I see moving shit. I didn't know if I'm being rude. I don't know who I'm talking to.
You're doing good, dude.
So this is obviously what you do. First. So you're going to call upon your friends, and you're going to say, okay, we need checkpoints here. Can you man these at all times of the day? Who fucking knows? Probably not. Can you man these with, security units? Can you put cameras on them? Can you interlace them with Wi-Fi? If you're super cool, can you run fiber lines to them that, talk to your fancy shit? But either way, you need to get communication and you need to get visibility and observation out to these fast, high speed, because anybody could come in with a deuce and a tank and just wreck your shit. So you gotta know it's coming. So obviously the first step is you're gonna just your checkpoints, and then obviously what's coming up next is more security. But with 12 people, with only 12, you're kind of just running these checkpoints, and you're gonna have to man them. You're gonna have to figure out a fob or a secret safe spot, and then just kind of check on them. But with 12 people, you don't have enough manpower right now at this point to even, these are a mile apart. So even on, oh, please speak up, man. I actually have to run to the bathroom.
Run to the bathroom and come back. Let me know when you're back.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna miss somebody who's talking and saying something really important. So I'm gonna bog. I want to hear what you're saying. I'm gonna run to the restroom and I'm gonna check in right quick in a second. I apologize, man. I'm being rude.
Yeah, that's all right. What I was thinking, just because we don't have a lot of people and any losses we take are gonna be, significant, just based on how many people we have in the first place. I was thinking maybe it would be a better idea to, instead of having checkpoints, have most of these be LPOP type setups where we're not necessarily being seen or projecting force and or drawing attention, but we're gathering information and sort of getting a early warning system so we can learn things about whoever might be coming our way without them knowing jack shit about us.
Yeah, that's a good idea. When he gets back, we'll definitely bring that up to him, see what he wants to do.
This might be a dumb question, but how do you even set up a checkpoint on a rural highway? That sounds kind of intense.
Yeah, I had a whole.
That's a good question. I like that.
Yeah, I had a whole video covering checkpoints. I didn't really do it on a rural highway per se, but it would pretty much operationally run the same.
I saw that one. It was good.
Yeah,
that was more like a subdivision.
Yeah, but the concept is the same, right? You'd use vehicles is the easy answer, but whatever you have at hand to cause obstructions in the road that would force somebody to do a serpentine, such that they would have to slow all the way down to like 10 or 20 miles an hour to maneuver through it. And then you place individuals there, someone, to make contact with that vehicle, and then somebody from a point of cover and concealment, ideally with a more powerful weapon that would be able to engage the vehicle should it attempt to blow through. It's like, the quick 30-second down and dirty.
Okay, I gotcha. Thanks.
No, and honestly, depending on your situation, you're not gonna fucking dig a real checkpoint in right away. It might just be like something you post a motion security camera on the very first night.
So
Weeks later,
what
you come
what
back
Bog
and you put
what
a
Bog was
real
saying
camera on it.
what Bog was saying was due
you,
to
sir.
manpower issues is you could just do LPOPs possibly rather than try to establish a hard checkpoint.
Essentially what they are, yeah. Maybe my terminology got muddied, but with 12 people, these are LPOPs because, like, they cannot. With 12 people, we can man one of these 24/7. There's 3 of them. Now we have 12 people, like 3
So
hours.
all right, so check it out.
We gotta figure it out.
You put the call out to everybody. So now each of your fire teams split off, and they found 8 other individuals. So now instead of one 12-man squad, you have 3 12-man squads. However, these purple units, which are your newcomers, they were not tactical individuals before this. They do not have nearly the level of training or gear. They are brand new to the teams, right? Like, you just found these guys, right? They're in shape. They're not going to fall out if they run a mile. They have rifles.
Papa Stelio is an expert at leading unexpert troops.
I'm just, they
I love these guys. These are my favorite. These are what I key on. No, it's great. What's the situation globally? Are we gonna have to, or do you want me to expand on how we're gonna, make logistics for these troops? Or are we just tactically playing?
mostly tactically focused, unless logistics plays some sort of a key role.
Obviously, we got 40 acres of really nice, flat, already farmland. So
I think logistics are fine. You guys, you guys are farming out here.
Honestly, tactically, I think something that needs to be mentioned that along this road that runs north straight, dead center into the property, I think you got some homes and stuff there. It seems like a natural, like an Alamo. And I think that needs to be mentioned because when these LPOPs all fail, there needs to be a defensive posture, a defensive point. You have some homes in the center of the grid. And I think if you just chose the northernmost center of the grid, left of where I think you see your mouse now.
Left, right, right here?
Yeah, in the middle of 407. So you got wide open fields on all sides because you want to kill them as they come in. Yeah. These center homes, these are going to be your Alamo homes, if you will. Yeah. And just to mention now at this point, like, if anything does become terrifyingly awful, like, these are your Alamo homes, and I'd like to put some postures up on them before we started defending the exterior posture with miles and miles of wire and, like, trying to check this northern creek for approaches. Like, we'd Alamo up our central base here, I think, you know what I mean? And just make it unapproachable, well lit. It would be this would be a priority before a lot of other things would be priority, if you will.
Okay,
And
so
also,
how many people do you have manning these positions, and are you trying to do checkpoints,
well,
or we're making contact with
no,
vehicles, or are we trying to do
I would call
LPOPs?
those, depending on the social situation, I'd call those soft checkpoints. I want to know who's coming up and down these roads. I'm not trying to hard check everyone. Like, I don't know the determination of civility at this point. If people are being nasty with each other and people are being gross, then you might get hard checked at a checkpoint, and I, somewhere else as a troop leader, get found out that, some people rolled up to this checkpoint and they were really rude, and we shot them all to death. And we need a wash down.
We shot them all
on
to
95,
death.
but it was brains everywhere.
I love that
And
to death
also,
like it's a medical
we also
mention.
set off all our claymores, bro. A little
Second
preemptively.
until
They didn't
they
get
die.
anybody, but we set them all off. We still need more. We were really excited to use them. But you get it. So, like, are these hard checkpoints? Are these soft checkpoints? What's the rule of law? Are we allowing people to drive up and down these roads? If we're worried about the neighbors threatening us, then obviously not. But if we aren't, then I imagine what's really happening in a realistic situation is, like, this is a tribe here located on this 40 sector grid, and I imagine a couple miles away is another one just like us.
Could be, for
Like,
sure.
Could be, should be, probably is. You should expect it. And you don't want to be just enemies. You don't want to make enemies for no reason. So, like, we're not going to go projecting forces, but all right. So we got this 40 acre grid, and we have checkpoints, but our checkpoints are not hard. They're soft checkpoints. They're informing us on people that are coming in and out, unless the whole situation's much wilder than I expect. But obviously, these are the first ones that I put in. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're good. So when we say soft checkpoints, what does that look like? So, like, let's say somebody's rolling down.
Well,
road.
LPOPs.
LPOPs.
They don't even be seen at first. Yeah, they don't even be seen at first until they need to be seen. We really just want to know, at first when we're establishing our grid and our square, our boundaries, we want to know how much. It's all about play of resources that you have available versus what you need to project or what you need to achieve. We have, let's say at first we have 12 guys and a 40K, or I'm sorry, I keep saying 40 acre grid here. Let's go to the back 40. We can go project a few LPOPs, but we cannot man checkpoints. We can man maybe one checkpoint that has the projection and the offensive capability and the defensive capability of a checkpoint. Maybe one. All day, all night long. But LPOPs, we can man them all night long with 12 guys, just here and there. We put our sensors in. We're not there every time. But are we worried about people projecting in and stealing from us? Or are we worried about an opposing military force? I'd love to know more about our opposition force and the spectrum.
Yeah, it's
which war
various levels of random thugs to organized crime, right? There is no police response out here, so there are organized gangs, armed gangs that strong arm people and stuff.
Rule of law.
Yeah, and all the way
As your favorite YouTuber says it, Trench.
yeah, my boy.
Rural. Or no, without rule. No, here's the thing though. In places like Texas, like without rule of law, it's still rule of law because law isn't written; it's intrinsic. We are humans. We aren't given our rights by the Constitution. We have rights. We're free people. So without rule of law doesn't mean much different than with rule of law, except for the weird people get weirder. Here's the cool part about country of Texas. There's not a lot of weird people. I mean that. Everyone out here is going to be pretty fucking kosher with each other. That's the cool fucking part about living in this part of the land. Everyone's fucking kosher. There's not going to be...
It's definitely better than a lot of places, but let's just say there aren't going to be
fucking hordes of city blacks running around trying to fucking steal Louis Vuittons, bro. It's not happening. There's not resources out here in which to raid regularly. There's not a collection of resources like there is in a city. Which there's not a pile of money on a main street, which is so super easy to raid. Out here, all the resources are stretched out. They're amongst people that need them. These are not targets of opportunity for people who target places when there's less rule of law. So I'm sorry, I'm getting excited. But with our defense, always considering a defense and considering this shit, you consider your enemy's most probable course of action and then their most dangerous course of action. Their most dangerous is crazy. We can game that all day, but their most probable course of action is just bands of inequipped people searching for help, and we're just not equipped enough to help them. It sucks to say, but that's the truth. People might be showing up asking for help, asking for clean water, asking for food, and we're just not in a position to afford that. It'd be great, though, if we position ourselves to say, yeah, actually, we have a farm. We'd love you to work on it because we need bodies, because we have so much land and we have so much protection. But anyway, it's a game we play. So
So,
where are we in the game?
yes, it is currently 2 o'clock.
How
It
we
is
feel about Alchemist?
it is
Outsiders.
currently 2 o'clock in the morning, and whatever force you have at these LPOPs,
There we go. I'm watching now.
notice that two F-250s come through, one of them with a cattle trailer, and they cross through LPOP-1 up in the north, and then a time period later, they cut right just before
Okay.
LPOP-2 and turn right down 53, and then are lost into the distance.
I love it. Big old cattle trailers.
One of them,
Notice anything other than I gotta call my LPOPs. Like, tell me all the information you know, all the juicy deets. I don't care if it seems inconsequential. I want to know.
sure,
Their lights on.
sure, yeah.
They're working.
They said everything seemed normal, that all the lights were working, nothing crazy. However, you
Nice
do notice that there was 2 trucks, 1 cattle trailer, and LPOP-1 couldn't comment on whether it had any cattle in it or not, but LPOP-2 commented that it definitely had a full load of cattle.
Okay, so full of cows. 2 cars. 1 absolute we know that said full of cows, and it rolled down our side and went east.
It rolled down 95. It ran down
Okay. And then
95,
turned on 453
passed
east
down
and
453, and
just
then
cruised
went
off.
east. Yes. Then in the morning,
Are we okay?
go for it if you got a question.
No, you go.
In the
I
morning,
need more.
this the person that lives at this house here says that he had a horse and 3 cattle stolen from his stables last night.
Okay. Okay. So we're now in the morning after this situation happened,
Correct.
and we need to tighten up security, I imagine.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, it's
So
your
the
call.
situation- Well, obviously, we need to tighten up security. We can't be losing product or cattle or whatever. This is shit. This is livelihoods. Okay, so we're of the assumption that people might have snuck in and stolen some shit. Now, obviously, question everyone on our side and trust everyone on our side. And I want to discount that because we're not playing fucking whodunit or Clue, but we're not going to accuse, I don't play the game that our guys are bad.
So the next
because they
morning,
could be,
somebody
but
caught on their
it's not
security
good.
cameras those same 2 trucks and 1 trailer coming in,
That's
and there was
fucked up.
1 other civilian eyewitness, like non-tactical dude eyewitness, that said he also saw those trucks and trailer rolling down 95.
Like a ring camera on my boy's house there on 95, caught some boys being suspicious.
And
grabbed some off, is that about right?
everybody that saw the footage and that has seen the truck said it didn't look like anybody they know that comes through town ever.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we know that we've got somebody yanking from us. So we have to tighten things up a little bit. And we cannot be the bad guy here. So we got stolen from. That doesn't make us bad guys. That doesn't make us evil. They got us one. We just don't need to get got again. We don't need to go get them. We're not going to become the bad guys over a loss. I'm going to go project control east and fucking fight them for it. We need to tighten our shit, though. Because, you shouldn't be a punk. You don't get punked. But you don't be the bad guy either. Because in these certain times, God damn it, man, the difference between good guys and bad guys is people who are ready and people who are not. Because when you're not ready, you'll steal from people who are not. People who are ready. So somebody who is not ready took from us, and that's okay. But we'll be ready next time. So obviously, we've got 12 families, maybe thickened up a little bit. Let's call them.
You've got 3 full squads if you want, but now since you've expanded your numbers impromptu, you don't. Right, those new members are new members.
Yeah, so we're plussing up a little bit. You got that purple checkpoint right there in the mud, in the dirt, right that Y. And I say we thicken up that checkpoint there, and we might start to make it a little bit more formidable. Not necessarily a hard checkpoint, but like hey, you definitely have to slow your car down here to go down 95 highway. And then again at 407, 453 at the bottom of 95, where you got a purple boy, I'd say we do about the goddamn same. Because basically between these two places is, people who have been stolen from. Okay? Everyone between here something's been taken from. So we have a full right to beef up our defenses. And I say we slow down cars because no one needs to come. We're in the middle of goddamn Texas, in the middle of nowhere. They don't need to be coming down this road, really. There's plenty of ways around. So also at this point, we put in some checkpoints, some hard balls, some pilvins, some tank traps, whatever the fuck it is. We'll beef it up with steel. It's Texans, they got welders. And we slow down traffic down 95 for this, quarter mile segment here, because it's ours now. And as well as we push it down west, maybe a little bit softer, a soft checkpoint there in that green field, 427 and 406 or whatever it looks like on the west side, southwest corner. Maybe just a little soft overwatch point there. It's just a gentle intersection. Looks like somebody else owns that. Yeah, hang out there. Just watch it. Just watch it. Even if you're there, you got a lot of work to get into anybody else's pastures or private. So now we have some generalized harder checkpoints on that 95. And then we have our good little grid secured. Obviously, our Northwest a little achy-pakey, but we're still being friendly with our neighbors. That should be the thing.
So are we blocking off traffic for anybody that we don't know on 95? Like they can't come through?
They can come through.
Thing?
Okay. I think it's just like a papers, please situation. As un-American as it sounds, like, hey, this is America, and this is my part of America, and things are getting weird. So, who are you, man? Like, we're here, we're Texans. Like, who are you? It sounds weird. It sounds beefy, and they did the scene in Civil War, and I didn't like how they did it. It was a weird movie, and I don't love all the political implications of that movie. But they did the scene. You roll up on a fucking military unit, and they're busy. And they did it twice. They did the one where that guy was mean. He said what kind of American he was killing people. He was busy. He was busy disposing of the people he thought was not right, and he was the bad guy. But also, there was another scene where there was just two snipers, and they were fighting two other snipers, and there wasn't too much to the scene, and I thought that was the best thing, because all they said was we're here, they're there, they're trying to kill us. Are you here with me? Are you paying attention? Are you awake? You get it? There's snipers in that building. They're shooting at us. We're trying not to get dead. We're trying to shoot them back. Does that make any fucking sense to you? And to so many people, that doesn't make any fucking sense. And it doesn't make sense, but it's the truth of some situations. So, not to get ranting.
Cool. So,
weird movie, not a great scene. Thank you. Cool, bro.
It's 3 days later.
Let's move on.
No, I agree completely, brother. However, in this scenario, it is 3 days later. It is currently midnight. I assume you maintain this posture.
Yeah, this is the grid we got 3 days later. Is see how test our security.
What appears to be possibly the same two vehicles, two F-250s with one cattle trailer, pull up. However, they see that you have a hard checkpoint, and they pull off about 200 meters north of it with their high beams on. So it's really difficult for you to be able to see clearly what's going on up there. And after a brief pause, definitely under 60 seconds, they conduct a 3-point turn and turn around, heading north, the direction they just came from.
Okay, they don't like my checkpoint.
Sounds like mission accomplished there a little bit.
I'm with this guy, dude. Hell yeah. Checky, time bomb, dude. He just nailed it. We want like 10 more of these a night.
In Texas or areas like that, is it possible to drive through these fields with a car or a truck, or would you need something?
If it was four-wheel drive, it kind of just depends, but it's definitely not like an insane thought to have.
That's so important. It's so important because the answer is yes, but you really have to pay attention to the actual terrain features of the land at a gross scale. Because what we're looking at, GWOT, he'll zoom me out. And it's going to be hard to tell because he's looking at satellite data right now. But if you switch to topos or anything else, you could tell that we have significant rivers here. Creeks, rivers, whatever you call them. And they're not going to ever move. And they're also not going to ever change. Well, they will, but slowly and over an immense amount of time. But the crossings are indefinite. And these are crossings that will be known to every force in the area that ever wages war here. They'll know where, they're not going to be looking at the maps we look at with the roads. They'll see those. But they're also going to be looking at every river map, every road map, every lowland map. And they're going to know where BTR can cross this fucking shitty river.
So at approximately
that's critical information.
At approximately 1 a.m., about an hour after that initial sighting,
this fucker's coming back.
your LPOP at the southwest there sees what is likely those same two vehicles come down the 406 and turn right down the 407.
Holy goddamn smiggity smokes. Booties, tumors in the wire, right?
It appears so.
Tumors in the wire.
So, based off that information, do you do anything?
God damn it, of course we do. This is about the worst possible situation because we have tumors in the wire. And I'd only hope I'd been prepared for this situation and we briefed it before. And I hope, out of sheer polarity, we'd called it tumors in the wire. But at this situation, what should happen, God damn it, this is crazy. It really depends on the priority of force. Do we have enough forces to defend Alamo? Is Alamo secure? If Alamo's not, you default to a mobile defense where everyone else on your nodes, common defends the most important node, the central node, where all your families, friends, your wives, your kids are. Am I heard? Okay, I'm lighting up. Good.
Yeah, you're good.
But this is probably not what's happening. This is probably not a desperate attack on your central node. It's probably not what's happening. But I still think what should happen is a reaction of sorts. If anything, call it protocol, or call it just like your best defensive posture, your final protective fires, if you will. I think at this point, like, okay, that checkpoint at 427, 406 got checked. It got blown. They're moving east. They're coming into your subdivision. This really intimate area here down this 407 road. They could be getting around to our intimate areas, our farm areas, our houses. And although it looks like wide open territory, it could be hard. If they were nasty little fuckers, it could be hard to source them out and suss them out of this territory. What are they probably doing? They're probably harassing us trying to steal, just like they did the other night. They probably think we're easy game. So I think what you should do is bring everyone in. Break everyone out of checkpoints. Straight to Alamo. Because at this point, things have gotten very, very weird. And I don't like thinking that I have game further north. Right on the top. Everyone together. Right on the very first, right on the mayor's house. There we go. On the mayor's house. There we go. Everyone comes in on the mayor's house, dude. The Alamo. And then we can consolidate. And then we don't shoot buddies. And then we can really fucking put these forces. I hate when people think that they have a tactical advantage over someone because they're more prepared, or they think they're more fit, or they think they have some sort of irrational advantage over OPFOR. Because here's the thing, is OPFOR's been training for a long time. They've been doing squats too. They do deadlifts. They know the routine. They're here to steal your shit. They're not worse than you. I don't like checking yourself and thinking, oh, my guys are good, we can fight the OPFOR at a disadvantage. No. I want a fucking 10-to-1 advantage on the OPFOR when we fight, because I don't want to.
So as that LPOP was breaking down and returning to the Alamo, they report that they hear a small active gunfight taking place in this house right here.
Say that one more time.
They report that they hear a small active gunfight taking place. I guess it's not any better there. Oh, there it goes. In this house right here.
People consolidated on the northeast. That's beautiful. So we have some gunfire at the house. Do I have a team still to the west? Have they consolidated, or is everyone consolidated at the Alamo there?
Yeah,
to the east of it.
All these people made it to the Alamo. We'll say they had it.
We hear it going on.
And
somebody who's trying to come back in.
Yes, they'll say that these more established checkpoints that you had were able to hop in a vehicle and drive back. However, this 2 or 3 man LPOP, during its foot egress back to the Alamo, it crossed through this area, and those 2 trucks have pulled off onto this house right here. Right, so these 2 trucks are right here.
I'm so stoked on this. I'm gonna grab a beer. Because I'm lit. Give me a second. I'm gonna grab a beer.
All right, make it quick, brother.
I'll be real quick. Okay.
No, I'm good, love. Thank you. Hilarious.
Your dog's causing a ruckus over there, GWOT?
No, my wife is. She's knocking shit off the walls. Right, Bolty.
So can you remind me how many people one of those purple dots represents?
Each square is a fire team, so 4 people.
Okay.
I don't feel good about those purple guys out in the open like that by themselves. They're not even drilled, and they're like going against thugs.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were just told to come return to base, right? Return to the Alamo, and they were doing that on foot.
They were coming back, and they got greased. They got surprised,
they're not in a
They're
gunfight.
green guys with them,
Listen,
though, right?
they're reporting.
Shouldn't they-
There's the 2 vehicles that we've been tracking. They're parked at this house. This is Google Maps, so I can't put markers, but they're right here, right? Those 2 cars are parked here, and there's an active gunfight going on inside this house. They're not a part of it. They were on foot crossing, right? They're like standing here on the road, calling us over the radio, being like, hey, there's a gunfight going on in Jenkins' house.
So it's not necessarily our patrol that's involved, that purple patrol, but they're hearing yellow. They're hearing yellow engaged. Like,
yes, these 2 trucks.
Friendlies.
Right,
Family friendlies.
I can't know it for sure, but it really, because we had nobody's laid eyes on it, but it really seems like these 2 trucks have pulled off and came out to try and rob or do whatever they were going to do, and the people that live at this house have begun to resist.
West Patrol Charlie, if Charlie is not, Charlie's pulling back to center, and they're hearing it happen, but they're not engaged.
They're not engaged. Correct.
Oh, okay. So at which point do I get the orders? I'd expect Charlie to do some things on their own. I'd also expect people to consolidate at Alamo and then start to panic and try to assume conditions and figure out what's going on. But I imagine what's going on at Alamo is we hear gunfire to our southwest, and we're like, what is happening?
You get a radio call. These guys, as they're returning from their LPOP, once they get close enough to be able to hear a gunfight, they report back to you over a radio you gave them that they see those 2 trucks parked outside of old Farmer Jenkins' house, and it sounds like there's a gunfight going on in there.
Oh my God, this is a terrible situation. People don't need to realize, what sucks is we now have Op 4 in a hard spot, and we're also this is light fighters. We don't have okay, here's the solution. We back up, we mortar them. It can't happen. It can't happen here. So here's where we got to just dissect a real situation. So, as cops go, is there active killing happening? If there's active killing happening, we go over one plan, and that's just rush in, and we can dissect that a million ways. I don't think it's productive. Can we decide that there's not active killing happening? They've killed him and taken over the position.
Well, what is your? I'm waiting on your response. I gave you a stimulus. Now I'm waiting on you to issue orders. Right? Okay. These guys are crossing the field.
Give me the stimulus one more time, and I'll
you said everybody returned to Alamo. So your 2 checkpoints, hopped in vehicles, and drove back. This fire team that was on a LPOP on foot is returning back. Once they get 500 yards away from Old Man Jenkins's house. They first hear a bunch of gunshots, and then they look and see those two trucks that we've been talking about parked at his house, and then they hear not an intense gunfight because just a couple people, but they hear pop, pop, pow, pop, pow, pop.
All right. I'll call them whatever their call sign is. Hold and watch.
Okay.
Approaching through northeast. We're gonna make a hasty plan. We're gonna basically make a hasty plan to approach from the northeast. I'm gonna tell them to literally hold their position. Let them know that Blue 4 is approaching whatever our call sign is. Hey, your call sign, our call sign. We're coming in from the northeast on this house. Don't shoot. Exterior. Bad guys to the south.
Okay.
And as best you can over radio. You do it, but also sometimes you just gotta shout.
Absolutely. So
and I'd love there to be SOGs, SOPs.
Who's moving where?
And tell them, I'm sorry, what?
Who's moving where?
Oh man, dude. All right. So here's the truth of the matter. I'm not gonna pimp it with you. Everyone's moving. Here's the thing. Here's the real truth of the matter. Yeah. Put them in a big blob. This is how it happens. Everyone's gonna be mad. Everyone's gonna be angry. And everybody's gonna come in a blob. Now, you can put your little green blobs, smart guys like me, a little bit behind your purple guys, your really angry guys. Because, we're leaders, we're smart guys, and we kind of thinking about it. We've been to some groups, but they're gonna mob down. But here's also, they're not gonna come down that field. No. They're gonna come down in a line. Look at the train. Be smart. All the purple guys are gonna come down in a southerly line along that. They're not gonna come down the field. They're not coming through the field. Come down that line. Yeah, there you go. Now everyone's going to approach from the east side, and then they're going to push across the field. No one's going to really give up themselves to that big, there you go. Yeah, no one's going to do that. Yeah, this is what's really going to happen. They're going to come down. No one's going to walk a fucking wide open ass field where they can get shot, especially if there's any actual gunfire going on that shit, or they think they might be in the second floor shooting out of it. Yeah, and that's a fucking farmhouse. They can get some range. They flatten this shit out there. It's flat.
Okay, so what are we doing?
Yeah.
You're doing you're assaulting.
Everyone approaches from the east side. West side's just literally support by fire, but just hanging out. We don't know what's going on here. I would not say assault the position. No, I'd push them east 100 meters because I would not say assault the position until. If we know there's active killing going on and our friends are dying, obviously we have some moral right to go fight them, but that's not the situation. I would push all the patrols off to that little scrub line on the east, and then try to make a decision on what's actually happening.
So you want them here?
Yeah, there. Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, there. Yeah, want the whole patrol on that scrub line.
All right.
A little bit of cover.
Okay.
So we can just watch. Now we can just see. We can use our thermals. We can use our optics. We can just stare. We can look in the windows.
So you get to you get there, and by the time you all get down there, it seems all quiet inside the house. You don't hear or see anything, but you do confirm that those two vehicles are parked outside.
Oh my god. I hate this so much.
So what are you gonna do?
Oh my god. We're gonna think about it for a bit. Honestly, I'd literally probably siege it for. I mean, do we have friends? Do we know of a family that's in this place? What's our moral obligation to this place?
Yes,
we
knew who lived here. Yes, Old Man Jenkins.
We assume Old Man Jenkins is dead, or is Old Man Jenkins screaming out his window like,
we see the two vehicles parked there. We know from the LPOP fire team that they heard an active gunfight, and now 10 minutes later, once we get on scene, we do not see or hear any activity.
Give me 1 minute here. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. I think
I would not.
I'll be running late
in the middle of the game.
Oh fuck, dude! I can't pee.
Go piss. It's okay. Go piss and think about it. Come back and make a decisive action.
I'll be very quickly.
I'll be very quickly.
Old Man Jenkins.
Who's that, Honey?
We haven't taken any casualties. That's good.
We have not yet. He was about to. I thought he was about to have us all cross that field.
I mean, the field, like, you'd probably do, like, bounding Overwatch. I don't know if the house has, like, a clear... Oh, it has a clear sight line there, okay.
Yep.
Why aren't we using vehicles? Like, we still have cars and trucks.
Because our squad leader didn't tell us to get in a vehicle.
Okay. I don't know if I was missing something here.
My thought earlier with the question about the trucks is maybe trying to use ATVs if that's something we have available.
Sure.
Like, if they can't get up where we are in their trucks, we can get to where they are or get away. That might be advantageous.
It took some thought. I know exactly what I'm gonna do.
What's that, brother?
Okay. When you have me staged up, is it nighttime? It's nighttime, right?
It is nighttime.
All right. These fields are not approachable. I imagine they've got some ability to shoot us if we just come marching across the field. We are now only 100, 200 meters away. At this point, we can call them out. We've got them surrounded. We're already winning. They're in a house. We're in the fields. They're
Okay.
our bitch now.
Yeah.
They've just made themselves our bitch. They haven't realized it. Tactically, I've already won.
So you call them
I
out.
just gotta convince them.
You call them out,
We're gonna,
and they say,
we're gonna call them out. I think we're gonna surround. We're gonna call them out, and we're gonna say, "Hey, dude, you guys have fucked up. You guys can leave down 407 in the next 10 minutes. If not, it's death."
so you kind of send one fire team, not like out in the open, but they kind of step out from behind a bush.
Out in the open, hell no, from the ditches, with the loudest PA system we have, dude.
All right, so
Yeah,
they say,
never exposed.
you say,
Yeah,
you say,
absolutely, yeah, you,
all right.
with a hamster.
You say, we have you surrounded. Give up, whatever. They say, fuck you. We already killed the old man. We'll kill you too. And they shoot kind of wildly off into the tree line, but it's apparent that they don't know where you're at. A couple of your guys return semi-accurate fire, at least generally accurate, into the windows and stuff that they're shooting from. At which point their gunfire goes quiet, and you see a lot of lights turning on and off and stuff, and hear some clanging in the house. There's like a bunch of rummaging around inside the house going on.
All right. What we have now is a battle that we're going to win. Now, we only have a certain amount of ammunition, and we have to use it very fucking wisely, because we're going to devastate these fucking retards in short order. But it all has to happen at once. Now, I don't know my logistics situation, but I hope we've got maybe an hour of gunfight in us. Good sustained ammunition for gunfight. An hour?
Sure. So are you beginning suppressive fire on this house now?
Not quite yet, because we have to mastermind our plan. But our plan's going to be executed very quickly once it's conceived. It's very simple. I'm a firefighter. They're in a farmhouse on flat land. There's not much territory they can hide from. It's a very easy target to suppress. And we're in scrubland, and 500 meters in all directions, completely surrounding this little poor house. Like, we can put so much ammunition on it for an hour, but it all has to happen pretty quickly. So, my mastermind plan, and don't accuse me of launching it all at once. It's the plan. We're going to initiate heavy fires from all directions, especially from the east. And the furthest southeast team on 407 is going to approach however they can. If we have quad bikes, if we have e-bikes, if we have anything, if they just have to run up the damn road.
Sure, you can have vehicles.
Going to approach. Yeah, there's going to be an approach team from the south. The support by fire team will be from the east, northeast, north, northwest, and west, or just northwest. There you go. That's the approach team. Everyone else, devastating amount of firepower on that dumb little farmhouse.
So as you guys start to open up pretty heavy, one individual runs out of the house and jumps into his truck that has the horse trailer attached to it. He begins in an attempt to speed across the open field and go over the road, but now your fires have shifted onto him. These guys pull back a little bit, and then he wipes out wildly and crashes off scene, assumed dead. You continue your approach to the house?
Absolutely. I continue the approach to the house. Yeah.
Okay.
Everything will continue.
So,
Obviously,
house is still under
the
fire.
boys would be like looking over their shoulders. But here's the main objective of that approach team
Yep.
is not hang out at the house and kill everyone. They're lighting it on fire.
All right.
They're only approaching it in enough time. Now, granted, I've lit shit on fire before. It takes some time. It's going to take them some time to light that bitch on fire.
Okay, so we have a shift fire call for the suppression.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Instead of just digging it out and dying in place with those guys in there, they're going to light that bitch on fire.
Sounds great, brother.
That shit's on fire. So those boys move in, under support by fire, and under all this convoluted succession, like, we've got some boys who are trying really hard and working really hard under fire, you know, hiding under windows, and just all they do is light that farmhouse on fire.
Yep. So we'll say that works. So you get up there.
Slash the tires of those trucks that were from bad guys. Make sure there's not an easy egress route.
Absolutely. So you get up there. You disable the truck. You set the farmhouse on fire. You hear the screams of the individual as he burns alive inside.
Oh no, I didn't want that.
Well, it's what happened, friend.
I was hoping for a nice friendly surrender. Jesus, dude. Okay. Let's continue with your scenario.
And then I would assume you go conduct a BDA on this vehicle.
I'm not too paranoid about that, brother, but yeah, no, it'd be smart.
Yep, and you confirm that he got domed.
I've got some very successful and intelligent GWOT vets with me and be like, you know, we shot that guy up. We should go check him. And be like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Go check that guy too.
Cool. So it looks like these two dudes are no longer with us in this reality, and now our community is minus one friendly old farmer and one farmhouse.
Here's another thing now. My buddy, old Timmy, he was lighting the house on fire. He got burned to a crispy. Both of his hands, both of his arms, circumferential, and on the front side of his chest, 33% circumferential burns. How do we take him out?
Wait, you said 33%?
33% circumferential,
So that's
30% overall body burns. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a medical
Lighting
emergency.
house on
You would
fire.
have
It's a
to
serious
identify
medical
him.
emergency. Hell yeah, dude. He's not gonna live.
He's gonna die in like a couple hours then.
You're right. Somebody's laughing hard.
All right, friends, and with that, it is now 9 o'clock, so I think I'm going to index on the tactical scenario, but we can definitely talk about it after action or anything else anybody would like to.
That was fun. I hope it didn't ruin. I hope it didn't fucking make it not good.
You're a bit long-winded. I think you made a lot of really good tactical decisions, and there wasn't anything incorrect to what you were saying. You just liked to monologue a bit.
Oh, sorry, dude.
You're good.
I get excited.
You did really good. I think setting the house on fire was the right call. Not marching people across this field was the right call.
We're going to engage him in CQB? I think that's dumb.
Yeah, I would have either, I probably would have tried to like wait him out and ambush the trucks when they come out. Was probably where my head would have been at. Setting the house on fire was another good option.
No, I think you're probably right. What I really would have done is like, no, everyone's dead in there. They took our friends. Like, we can just sit out here and watch them.
The call out was a good idea, and once he told you from the call out that they killed the guy in there, then it would be nice to not burn the house down. But I mean, whatever, fuck it.
Honestly, I'm a firefighter, so I've always wanted to just chain doors and burn people alive.
Do the opposite. I've always wondered what it felt like to be on the other side of the law.
I just want to see what happened if I just chained the doors down and just like lit the house on fire darkly. No, I'm just kidding. I don't mean that.
Of course.
No, thanks for letting me play, dude. This is fun. I'd love to play longer. I'd love to find out what the little creeps would do if they came through the fucking northwhere through the fucking creek.
Yeah, I had some other stuff planned. If we could have got through stuff a little bit faster, but it's okay. No worries. I'm a little tired from being at the live range today too, so I don't want to go 2 hours. No, you didn't. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just the faster you make decisions and stuff, the more stuff we can get through. There's not a right or wrong answer. If somebody's totally brand new and they're watching this stream now or later on, you did a great job of like really explaining a bunch of detailed thought process. It was all locked on. It was all solid stuff. I'm not saying you did anything wrong.
No, yeah, no, for sure. What I noticed at the FTX, actually, we had a little fucking fun a couple weekends ago, is we had some difficulty as some guys that actually had some real, actual experience like you, directing fires and stuff like that. When they got shot at, they were like, just like trying to fight. And man, it's so crazy the difference between freaking fighters and leaders and people. Not that I've been in combat, but
No, you're good, bro. I mean, it all comes down to experience.
I just mean it like, you know, you get shocked, you get surprised, and I've seen like some literal Navy SEALs that they just clam up and they fight. They fight to the death, and they're great fighters. And they'll run up a hill and just like put bullets in the bad guy's teeth, but they will not direct their team's fires. And it's so fucking important for a leader to be like, you know, I don't have to run up the fucking hill. I gotta tell all my buddies.
Like what I was saying earlier, yes.
And I gotta tell the other fucking team that just got chewed up like 100 meters in front of me, like, yo, stop right there. Don't run away. Like, shoot up the hill. We'll move, not you. And it's crazy how many like seriously qualified people come out to my events. I love them to death because they know they have the experience and they're really good at this shit.
They have the experience as a fighter. I mean, I don't know, you know, you obviously not getting specifics or whatever, and that's fine, but I would wager the majority of those guys don't have experience as a small unit leader. They only have experience as a rifleman or whatever,
well, dude,
right?
Having experience as a fighter is crazy because, like, how do you do that? Oh, Chicken Farmer's in here. He was at one of my FTXs. He's, like, not talking. He was there, Seth.
Very
His
cool.
name's Seth. I'm not sure, but no, having experience in this shit is so difficult.
on YouTube. You be
What's
careful,
up,
bro.
Chicken Farmer?
His name is Seth McDaniel. He lives at 9437th Street.
I didn't dox him. His name's only Seth. No, yeah, he's a Missouri boy. He doesn't like Trump. No, he's fine. He's a cool guy. He's in here though. He's hearing it. He came out with the event. Anyway, I don't know what I'm getting at, but no. There's a difference between like fucking. There's some difference in just like going and just like the spectrum of things from the top down, where you see the battle implements and you see the map and you see units moving, and then you actually like put it into space. I've got this motherfucker, man. I don't mean to bitch. I got this guy who comments. He's like the first comment on all my videos. And he just shits on me. He just talks shit. I hate him. And he's so mean. And I delete it because I don't like it, dude. I just like positivity. But he's so mean and for no reason. And I'm like, dude, these guys are out here working. They're trying. They're training. They're working their best. Yeah, this person's not great. Like, but this person's not always going to be great, dude. Like, sometimes people are fucking exhausted.
Listen, privates suck. Whether it's the militia equivalent or the actual military or whatever. I had this discussion many times in real life on the internet, right? Like Matt Pranker right now, what the relevant terminology for it, though other people have talked about the same concept. Matt Pranker is a big Delta dude, and he's big on hard skills, which is like, yes, if you're actively being tactical right now, be in the best shape you can, be the best shooter you can be, all the stuff, right? Great, yes, do it. Dry fire, live fire, etc., etc. But the reality is, the vast majority of the people that are actually going to be doing the manpower of the fighting, the actual riflemen, aren't going to get into this until this becomes something they have to do. They're going to be super fresh and green. The people that are doing it now are going to be team leaders, squad leaders, platoon leaders, or whatever the situation is, right? And like you being able to shoot good and reload good, you know, I spend time doing it. You should spend time doing it. But it's not. It's you being able to utilize your team is what matters, right? No, rifleman number 3 probably sucks at reloading, and he probably isn't even that accurate. But I can tell his entire 3-man or 5-man fire team to shoot at that building, and now a bunch of bullets are going into that building, and I can direct that wherever I want it to to. It doesn't fucking matter how fast his reload is, and that's actually combat effective in the real world. So
they get bent out of shape being the rifleman and thinking, I need to do this, and that. And like, no. Like, the most important and effective things you can do as a civilian is be a leader of riflemen and understanding, it's just the rifleman's a basic fucking step, but understanding how to direct fires of a team and lead people and understanding the leadership process, because it's a gay process and it's boring, but honestly, it makes sense to everyone fucking involved when you do it right, and it feels good to the people that need it. So leadership's not a fucking gay fucking fake thing. It's important to the people that need it. And if you are ever going to be someone that makes a fucking difference, you're gonna be hard pressed to do it alone. You know what I mean? You're gonna be real hard fucking pressed to do it alone. And if you think that your survival instinct and your character is going to be your precipice of your survival, I think you're wrong. I think the most important thing you can do is be friendly and be smart and understand warfare at its most creature level. Understand it at its creature level, at its individual level, its team level, and its tactical level, and it's a strategic level. And then understand how you're going to integrate with that, because you're not an anomaly. You're not. If you think you're an anomaly in the warfighting spectrum, you're an amicium. You're a ghost. You're dead already. There's been so many unique people out there in the world thinking they're special. What you need to do, I'm sorry, I'm preaching. I'm sorry, you shut me up right now. You mute me. But you need to learn to fight with your friends, and you need to be friendly, and you need to be there for your buddies when they need you for little shit, because the little shit adds up to real shit. God damn it, help your friends, love your buddies. Kick me out of this fucking shit already. God damn it. Love you guys.
What?
Love you too, boss.
What?
What's up, honey? What you got for me?
No. You know what's actually fucking gay is when nobody steps up for the leadership.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When everyone's sitting around on their butts, twiddling thumbs, it's like, we need to get shit done. Load up your fucking guns and get in the truck. We're going.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Actually, since we're on the topic,
It just means we need more leaders.
What's up, twerking?
Andrew says my advice is to confer with your team leaders more. Sometimes your boys might see something you're missing. Now, just the thing about that and the way it plays, I completely agree, because I mean that's what the U.S. military does, is like junior leadership. With this scenario, I just think it's really like when you have junior leadership, they have agency to act. And in this, like we're squad leader, we can command, we can tell them how to move here or not. But
that's really
in real life, yeah, but
it's
in real
American
life,
too. That's an American doctrine.
Yeah, but in real life, they have agencies that they can make their own decisions. So, like, for them to respect you enough that they would listen to you 100% and do everything you say as you say it, like that would be the tall order here. Like that.
It's a tall order because American military kind of demands it, but the infrastructure we just find ourselves in, I can't demand you to just obey me.
You have to instill confidence. You have to instill confidence. You have to.
It's so much more important.
Like
to actually be a leader.
You have to.
Yes,
you have to be.
A leader.
You have to be the guy that they have confidence in. That you're going to have the answer. It's going to be the correct answer. That way, they're not going to hesitate. They're not going to second guess. And it comes from a lot of things. It comes from having some experience. It comes from being squared away, right? Like your gear always looks good. We go to the range. You hit your targets. We do a workout. You're not fucking sucking. Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, you got the answers. You know what the fuck's going on. Whenever I have a question, you're going to answer it, and I'm going to execute on it.
I've been a part of a few organizations where, and I'm an active duty firefighter. I work at a city structural fire department. There is an absolute difference. We know the guys, pardon my French, we know the guys that fuck, and we know the guys that collect paychecks. And, well, there's a difference, man, and I don't need to get into it. Some guys have weaseled their ways into collecting a paycheck, and some guys fuck. Some guys can carry the fucking bill and work. And, there's respect had, but there's not respect due. Everyone that has respect due has respect had. Because you earn it, and you're fucking tough, and it's weird. Man, I've had too many beers, and I'm getting a little crazy in Discord. Sorry.
Yep.
Thank you.
But, yeah, I mean, saying though, Stelio, like, I work EMS, and I have a buddy who went through our EMT training at the same time, and this dude, even though like he is just as technically experienced as I am, he is a lot more decisive. He's also a few years older than me. I think I'm in my mid-20s and he's in his late 30s. And his decisiveness.
Strange dichotomy with age, and I'd like to talk about that more. Keep going.
Yeah, I was just gonna say though, his decisiveness, even if he doesn't know things perfectly, like, has really kind of saved our asses a few times. Where I was like trying to be like the most technically correct, and he was like, "Dude, we just gotta go." And I'm like, "Yep, okay, you're right." And then we went.
Well, that's two things you're balancing: a dichotomy between experience and technically correct. And the old guy, you'll find where you think he's an epitome of knowledge and experience, and he always has the right answer. Well, maybe not. You'll find that experientially that sometimes the guys that actually do this shit don't ever have the technically correct answer. They have the answer that's worked for them for a very long time in their experience, in all their experience. And it's not wrong, it's just not technically the right answer. And technically the right answer might be something totally extraneous and totally different. And this is especially significant in EMS. But in all things, it's true. And I think that's important to realize that when, and I hate it, because no one wants to talk about, like, when somebody makes a video, it's like, I got the best backpack ever. Here it is. Everyone wants to see the best backpack. Nobody wants an intrinsic answer and a discussion about what makes the best backpack. They wanted to see the fucking best backpack. They want to see the medical aspect that's going to save lives. They wanted to see the tourniquets that's going to stop bleeding. Well, the truth of the matter is, in all these things, like, there's so much intrinsicness that it's playfulness, it's bullshit, it doesn't matter, or it does matter, or it doesn't matter, if you get what I'm saying. It's lost in the sauce. So, you get all these fucking instructors that say one way or the other, and, god damn it. Has anybody muted me yet? Am I still going? Hello?
No, you're still going, bro. I believe in freedom.
Just interject. Bog, what are you saying, like I want to rephrase or like understand, are you saying like speed, surprise, and violence of action, like just decisiveness?
Decisiveness of violence of action is huge. This is so important.
Just the medical
go ahead.
version, where instead of trying to kill people, we're trying to save them. In this case, but yeah, no, because I was trying to be like, like, should we do this? Like, should we do that? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, we're wasting too much time. We need to just make a decision and go, which is cool. But another thing he's also good at, I know, the dude's a homie. I love him. He's also good at is still conferring with me too, because sometimes, like, he won't know something, and then, we'll put our heads together and it'll still be like a team decision. Anyhow, yeah, him and I have a pretty good.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, it's having that age gives you a lot of like wisdom just in life, which translates to like whatever you do for sure, and gives you the ability to make those decisions. And it could just be like a personal trait of his as well, but that's absolutely important for leadership, right? Sounds like you have a great leader above you. He has enough experience and enough personal wisdom to know what to do when, and if it's an opportunity where it's not super time sensitive, then he's happy to confer with you to see if there's a better option or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's like the perfect way to play it, right? I'm confident in my answer. If we don't have time to talk about it, I know what tasks to assign, but I'm also, if there is time and space available for it, happy to listen to other people.
Yeah, and that kind of creates some of at least the best team dynamics I personally have experienced. Yeah, that whole organization we've got fortunate to have a lot of good leadership. Yeah.
That is really fortunate, bro. I'm so happy to hear that for you. It's a rare thing these days.
My local EMS organization. Yeah. Yep, yeah. Work for a county. You all good?
Want to kill yourself? Me too. No, I'm joking. I'm sorry. I gotta be at work tomorrow at 7 in the morning. I gotta go fucking hop on.
All right, boys. Anybody else got anything?
Yeah, GWOT, if you could give me a few minutes here. I've been wanting to talk about if our team, I mean, you could put it anywhere on this map. Let's say our team was in an engagement against somebody and we lose fire superiority. If you could discuss, like, what becomes the strategy or priority at that point.
Good question.
Yeah, you would want to egress, right? You would want to basically break contact, and then depending on the greater situation and scenario, once you've broken contact with the enemy, you can retake the fight to them from a different position. So hopefully you don't have that disadvantage, or you can just leave the area, right, if it's not realistic for you to engage the enemy. That's assuming you can't gain the violence of action, right? If you have the ability to gain the violence of action, then you would want to do that. But if you've lost that violence and it's not like if you have a belt fed and then the belt fed goes out, but you're waiting for the belt fed to get back up, or the belt fed's moving position or something, then you can kind of like hold, hopefully position a little bit, kind of hunker down, knowing and hoping that in a second you're going to get that violence of action back. But if it's gone and you don't have any answer to get it back, then you're going to have to disengage from that fight, at least temporarily, and reposition.
All right. Some other things that I'm kind of thinking about is if for some reason you cannot just retreat or get out, you're kind of stuck there. I'm just wondering if there's any more specific tactics about how to regain that fire superiority. If it's like having multiple guys pop out of cover at the same time, or if it's like, if I was pinned, I would be expecting a flank. So I guess naturally what I would think to do is, instead of facing my weapon systems at the enemy that's shooting at me, I would just start aiming off to where flanks would be coming from and sort of surprise on that. Just if you got anything like that to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that's correct. If you're being suppressed, you're being fixed in position, then what's next is either going to be, some sort of artillery or airstrike on you, or a maneuver element closing with your position. What you need to do is move, right? Even if you were to gain the fire superiority, it would be to gain the fire superiority to control the battle space, to facilitate your movement, to get out of there before those bombs start falling on you, or that maneuver element gets to where you're at. So if you are completely unable to gain fire superiority, then you would want to egress however you can, right? Like, if we're stuck in this house, am I still streaming? If we were the bad guys in this scenario and we're stuck in this house, you are pretty fucked. Your only hope is to like get in one of those trucks or whatever and roll the fuck out. There's a whole squad online here. You're in the middle of an open field. This is a pretty like worst case type scenario, which has a lot of similarities to like bombed out Ukrainian farmland, and like you're just a couple dudes in a random trench system, and then the Russians are coming down on you, or vice versa, right? You really don't have anywhere to maneuver on out in the open. It's pretty shit. That's pretty, sometimes you just die, which is unfortunate. How to regain fire superiority, right? You have to outmatch the violence that the enemy is putting on you. So you have to be able to, whether you need to shoot more or shoot more accurately, and do that so much for a certain period of time that you now have the initiative, right? The enemy is hiding from you rather than you hiding from the enemy. But it's definitely like a thing that's difficult to do, right? Like there's breakout drills, specifically if you had more than 2 people. But so if you were held up in this house with like a whole squad or whatever, and same scenario, right? You're stuck in this house and there's a squad online suppressing you, but instead of 2 people, you're a whole squad. The breakout drill is not any sort of a guarantee of like success or survival, but it's rather than sit here and wait to die, one last ditch effort is basically you just throw everything you have, right? So if you have smoke or whatever, you're going to throw the smoke out there to obscure, everybody's going to break out of the house. If you can break out multiple entry points at the same time so more people are flooding out faster, that's what you're going to do. Everybody's going to face the direction of contact as fast as they can, and everybody's going to be trying to melt the barrels off their guns as fast as they can. And it's and while bounding and moving, right? Whether that's as a counterattack to the enemy or as a break contact away from the enemy. So you're trying to mass as much violence as you possibly can muster for that little bit of time to facilitate you breaking out of that bad situation. But I mean, even then, if you're trying to break out across a 600 or 700 yard open field, that's pretty fucking shit. There's no two ways around it.
If I'm in that situation, I'm trying to return fire around the house. Would you recommend like leaving out the back door and looping around? Because windows can be really horrible to shoot at, and you could die really fast popping out a window, especially if you're skylined. I reckon. I don't know. Is that true?
Yeah, you would want to shoot from out of a window from inside of the room. So not only like muzzle not sticking out the window, but you would want to be like 4 feet inside the room, shooting from the center of the room through the window out at them, and then as much as you can fortify that position, given whatever the situation, how long you've been there, whatever the case is, right? If you can like have a sandbag position inside a room to shoot from, or whatever.
That makes sense.
Starting to get probably a little unrealistic for most situations, but.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell where you're getting shot at from if you are shooting your gun from inside the room. Not only is your gun not protruding, whereas if you're right at that window, it really fills that whole window box up with your muzzle flash.
Right. Okay. And then with the maneuver, like let's say you do, by some miracle, regain fire superiority. Like the next closest piece of cover is nowhere to be seen, maybe. I don't know. Would you just want to break contact directly away with the building between them and the enemy? I don't know.
Yeah, in the exact situation where they're all out here and they're shooting at us, I would probably try to break contact to the west here, right? To try and put the house between me and as much of the people shooting at me as long as possible while I make my way west, and build as much distance as possible.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's a pretty bad situation. What I would do is not get all of my forces stuck in this house, right? So if I'm being the bad guys, they fucked up by coming up in here and staying here too long, right? As soon as they got in a gunfight or whatever with this guy, they should have basically broke contact rather than pushed the homeowner threat and then got back in their trucks and fucking left ASAP, even if it means with nothing, knowing that they don't want to get trapped in this fucking house. Or if you're with the whole squad, you don't send the whole squad, ideally, your whole force up into this house, right? You send a team up into the house to check it out, and you leave a team out here, and then you put a team out on one side or the other, or a guy on all four corners or something like that. So if anything happens, you're not all stuck in here. So the guys in the house maybe set up a support by fire, and the guys outside of the house maneuver.
Gotcha.
So we gotta set ourselves up for success by being tactically intelligent, right? Hopefully you're not stuck with all of your forces shelled into an Alamo with a much larger force suppressing you and 800 yards of open field in every direction. Don't put yourself in that situation.
Yeah. That checks out. If you had the 4 guys on their all corners, like that's, I don't know, that would be like less security or more.
It would be an early warning.
But
It'd be early warning, not a defensive posture, right? So if all guys on this guy here would see this patrol coming down when they're 800 yards away and immediately start moving south and be on the radio like, fucking bail, 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 a squad's coming at us. And then everybody would get out of the house before they got in position. That would be the advantage of having like essentially a bunch of LPOPs pushed out.
yeah, okay, that checks out. So if you're expecting contact, like let's say this is kind of a raid or whatever, and you move in, and you kind of have a general direction where you expect them to come from, then maybe it's preferable to have the other strategy, like
So yeah, just like
have a fire team northeast or something.
just like in my raid and deliberate attack, right? So if it's a raid and we know we're not going to occupy, we never send our entire force over here. Like a third of our force, half of our force tops is actually on site at the raid. We always have our support by fire that's suppressing off site of the X of the raid, and then probably security individuals keeping a perimeter as well. So again, we're not committing ourselves into a position where we can all be stuck in this building. We still have external units that can suppress for us or whatever we need to do.
That makes sense. Got to keep that in mind in other scenarios where it's less obvious, where there's not just like one bad spot you don't want to get stuck in. It's like
For sure.
having friendlies to shoot from other angles is just huge.
Huge. Yes, sir. All right, boys. Unless anybody's got something pressing for me. What's up? What you got?
Oh no, I had some thoughts earlier about leadership. Like in the military, they kind of own you, and they can basically order you around. You cannot argue or say otherwise.
Yes, there's truth. But in the moment, right, like we're all humans, and if you tell me to do something, and I literally think you just told me go kill myself, I'm going to, at a minimum, hesitate and not execute that order with intensity. Up to be like, no, you can go ahead and court-martial me when we get back, and I'll be alive. I'm not going to do that, dude. No. And then like, what now? I've got a gun. You've got a gun. We're in the middle of a firefight. You told me to do something. I just told you, no, you're retarded. Yeah, I'll be in trouble later. And shit like that happens, which is why it's really important to have that confidence. You don't want that to even be a thought in your guy's head, which is why the demand on leadership is so much more. You basically have to appear like a demigod almost, right? You can never show your weakness. You got to be the guy that's up first, sleep last in the chow line. If there's not enough food, you go without. Somebody needs water, they have half of yours. You're always fucking finishing first in PT. You're fucking strong. You always hit your target you shoot at.
Gotta be the man. But yeah, I think Vic was talking about this. Like, I guess it's more relevant for like mission planning and proposing a mission to your buddies. Like, all right, guys, we're gonna go do this. You know, they definitely don't have to agree to your plans.
For sure.
They might be like, no, fuck off. We're not going on some stupid suicide mission.
Yes, the less.
I mean, it's still true when you're on the ground in the field in the military, like you're saying.
But it's super true for civilians. They could just walk away from the entire thing. They can say, I don't even want to play anymore. Never mind.
Yeah, like fuck this. I'm gonna go home. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a thought to consider. It feels like you really have to have aligned motives and goals. Like,
yep,
absolutely.
Yes, yeah. It is difficult, which is why I say the things I say and have the conclusions I've come to, because I've been a part of a bunch of groups and seen a bunch of stuff fall apart way more than I've seen stuff work out. And I feel like your group, if anything ever happens, you actually have a group of dudes doing it, it's gonna be like, hey, we all want to drink water tomorrow. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, all this other shit is out the door. We all got kids. They're all fucking thirsty. Where's the clean water at? How do we get it? How do we protect it?
There has to be a lot of pressure, because it has to be more risky to go home and hang out with your family than it is to get out there in the woods. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
That's kind of why a lot of my philosophy and stuff is geared, because as much as I really desperately wanted to, and I'm even still trying to manifest it in my life today, like the idea that I'm going to have a whole squad of dudes that train every day or every week or whatever month for 10 years, and we all live within 20 miles of each other or whatever, to where it makes kind of somewhat sense. Like, that's just not, I'm yet to see that ever be a real thing for any length of time or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just because of civilian life and fluctuating, and so few people are even into this, which is another totally true aspect historically, right? Every war, every domestic conflict, everything, most of the people that participated in it before the thing happened would not have thought that they were going to go participate in something like that. So before thing happens, you're not going to convince who's actually going to be your fire team to come to the range with you, because they're not even going to fucking think about it until they have no choice. For most people, most of the time, generally speaking.
Yeah, that looks true. I look around and I see that. Yeah.
Breast
Anyways, okay.
facts. Oh,
Go ahead.
I know we're kind of stretching on time. I was just going to mention that Breast Facts had an interesting video talking about the sort of civilian Green Beret concept where, like, yeah, because until the thing happens, most people aren't going to be training regularly. But if you have one person or a couple of people that have been training for a while and have also been training to teach,
Yep.
then that can definitely be an asset so you can bring people up quickly, which is kind of like what you're doing just via YouTube.
That's the game plan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, boys, I got to go. I appreciate y'all. It was a good one.
Thank you, GWOT.
Later,
Thanks.
guys.
Take care.